Hey everybody, welcome back to the SwigTalk podcast. And the guest we have was suggested by our favorite boy, Ryan Walterson. And with me, I've got Jim. How you doing, man?
Hey, what's up? It's me. How's it going? Thank you for having me on here.
Jim is a movie reviewer on YouTube, and he's gotten pretty popular with those. And you've been doing it for a while, man. How long have you been doing it for?
Okay, I should actually remember this because not just because it's actually the night before I got married. I shot my first review, so which was 10 years ago.
What were you doing before you started making videos? Like, what were you doing before then?
Do you mean like before like the review videos or videos in general?
Videos in general, I guess.
I guess before I was making anything, I was like a kid in Baltimore. Just I really loved movies like a lot. And there was even I think the year it was kind of building throughout being in middle school, and then there was a year I don't know if do you know what the AFI list is, the top 100.
No, I don't.
Okay, so there's this list, and it's I even knew at the time it's not the best list of best films of all time, but the American Film Institute made a list of the 100 greatest American movies ever made, and I was like 14 or something when the first one came out. And I was determined that summer to see every movie on there I hadn't seen. And I got pretty far. I didn't finish, but I like learned a lot because the trick to any best films of all time list, anyone who's watching, is that even if the movies aren't your favorite, they're still like stuff you kind of just should see, and like learn from. And so I learned like a lot that summer. And then I think the next summer I took my first film class, like a college film class when I was in high school. And I did a bunch of kind of college film courses at Towson University when I was still in high school. I apparently did most of the program, which I didn't know at the time. I was like one class away. No one told me that till literally 2 years ago. So it's like 15 years. I didn't know that information. Yeah, so I was just in film school. Then I was making films in film school. Then I was making other flash cartoons. I had a flash cartoon, Cletus the Fetus. I did that. And when doing that, I met a bunch of animators. And I went to school for film, but once I realized there was an animation department, this was at the School of Visual Arts, and I kind of was like, I liked film, but I also liked animation. And when I learned there was an animation department, I was like super interested, and I would hang out there a lot and hang out with Ian, who we do Knock Force later, and Zero, who created Cletus the Fetus with me, and we are all like this kind of group of three, and we're always working on each other's films, and like we all saw Spirited Away together. And so I was kind of like leading this weird double life in film school where I do a flash cartoon, Cletus the Fetus, with my animation friends. And then I'd work on films as well, which at the time people told me was unusual. I think now it's nobody cares. But at the time, like people would get like territorial, like, you got to pick one, bro. And I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. So, and then after film school, like exactly a year after college, Knock Force happened, which was on YouTube. And then we did that for 2 years, and then I started the reviews kind of towards the end of that.
That segues into the second question is, I guess, the sense it segues into the reviews. Was there anyone in particular that inspired you to do it, or were you just like, I love movies, I want to talk about them, I'm going to do this my way kind of thing?
I guess I'm a little different from a lot of reviewers because, like, Nostalgia Critic and Angry Video Game Nerd, although I was aware of them and I'd watch them, they weren't like critics that inspired me personally. I think a lot of the critics that inspire me are more written. Obviously, I grew up with Siskel and Ebert, and although I don't agree with everything they did in their career, I still, you can't do this for them and act like they didn't have an influence. Like, they're just very influential. Even the format that everyone uses to review movies is taken from them. But I think my main influences, sorry, this is like a long-winded answer. My main influences, I guess, would be Pauline Kael, who is like a legendary film critic. Drew McWeeny, who now was Moriarty, on Ain't It Cool News, when that was a thing people went to. He's kind of been a big one. I would say Film Crit Hulk. people like that. So it was like more like theory, kind of like people very knowledgeable about like the history of film and stuff like that. But those are like been the three for me, and I guess yeah, they're my bigger influences.
When you got into making videos and doing these movie reviews and movie discussion videos, you've been doing this for a long time.
It was 2009. Yeah, it was 2009. It was I saw the 1201 of G.I. Joe Revenge of Cobra, Return of Cobra, whatever that G.I. Joe movie was. And so it was like the night before I was going to get married, because my wife and I got married at a courthouse. But I had also determined, like, I'm going to start these movie reviews with G.I. Joe. And I was like, even though it was like the night before, I should have gone out like to a strip club or something that people do. But instead, I was like determined to stay up, and I drank like a ton of Red Bulls, and it was gross.
Grabbed a camera and talked about G.I. Joe.
Yeah, and I talked about it like on the street vlog style, which is different. And the thing I always remember, like I remember the G.I. Joe movie is all right. It's whatever. I don't hate it as much as most people.
It's just kind of a stupid movie, and it's a good stupid guilty pleasure.
I don't remember the movie that well. I just remember going to sleep and I drank way too many Red Bulls, and I get into bed and I just felt my heart going like good chunk, good chunk, good chunk. Like it was like I was like, oh man, am I gonna go to sleep? And I did fall asleep because I think my body was like, holy shit, what did you do to me? But it was. It was an epic first experience. And then I didn't because my wife was getting ready, and I was like, well, we got married at a courthouse, so I got ready pretty quick. And then I think I cut it up and then went and got married, which is like such an epic. Yeah, it's like, I don't know. Now that I'm thinking about it, because it's been 10 years and all that, and we're still married and all that. It's such a. It's kind of crazy. I think if it was now, I would have been like, yo, bro, you could wait like 2 days. Like you don't need to do this right now.
After 10 years of doing movie reviews, is there any video specifically that you were like, yeah, I'm really proud of the way this came out, or one that you're just like, oh, I wish I could have done that better?
The ones I'm really proud of are all of the Deep Focus. I have a video essay series called Deep Focus. And that I'm really proud of, just because they're kind of like giant theses, I guess. I just tweeted about today that the one I'm really proud of this past year was the one on Marsha Lucas, who was George Lucas's ex-wife and a film editor. She won an Oscar for editing Star Wars, the original Star Wars, and it was supposedly very the kind of head editor on the trench run at the Death Star sequence. There's another one on big influence of mine, Pauline Kael, and I just use audio of her talking about criticism, and that was kind of a difficult one because obviously like I sort of put it together, but I wouldn't say I wrote it, you know what I mean? And I'm not in it, which is like, I guess, a little ballsy.
I never go to a movie wanting it to be bad. I always go wanting it to be good, because then I'll have something new to say. I mean, an innovative movie means I'll have something new to write about. And that's the most exciting part of being a critic.
And I don't know, the first one about like, did Disney ruin animation? And I forget, there's so many, like there was one that's totally theoretical, which was like I think how to watch a movie. And I don't know, I'm very proud of those because there's a lot of work that goes into them. Yeah, I'm trying to think of one that like I sort of wish I had done better. There's a lot like my older ones that like I did one thing and I haven't gotten to do it because of life and job changes and stuff. I used to follow an entire director's career from beginning, like do even their obscure stuff to like their like do the whole filmography basically. And some of those I'm very proud of. Like I did one on a classic Hollywood director, William Wellman, and that's always something I wanted to do, is do someone from classic Hollywood, because those are directors no one ever does that with. But I was like, I just wanted to say I did it at least with him because I really like him. But I did one on John Carpenter, was the first one I did. And there's a lot of those reviews. Like I'm still like I'm proud of the Halloween review and the Thing review, but the one on Assault on Precinct 13, I'd really like to do again. The one on They Live, I would like to do again. A lot of those times I will do them again. I don't know. The first one I did of G.I. Joe, part of me is like, I could do a better job, but like nobody cares. So
it's from a movie from like 2009. You know, it's like and also it's like, and that's the first one you start with. It's like, I mean, and a lot of the times I've, you know, so far only like one person has, you know, talked about, you know, oh, I didn't like a video from like a long time ago. I think that's just kind of the cycle with like being a content creator. It's like when you start making videos, and especially if you've been doing it for a while, over time you're just like, yeah, my older stuff's bad, but there's also kind of a small appreciation for it because it's like, you know, oh, that's just, you know, those are my roots, that's where I came from, kind of thing.
No, I would agree with that, because that John Carpenter series, you know, I did so many director series after that, from John Waters to Studio Ghibli and all that stuff, and it kind of showed me the fun in doing that, the good parts of doing that, like the amount of knowledge you get from doing that, and it was also like gave me this appreciation for John Carpenter, where if I watch a John Carpenter movie, like I'll be like, oh yeah, he's working with that producer, okay, all right, so it's this era, oh, but I forgot this is the DP. All right, so it's kind of this mode, but this, and like I can go like very deep into him, and it's like, you know, I kind of earned that. You know, I didn't take a class in John Carpenter technically, but I like gave myself a class in John Carpenter. So, and John Carpenter is awesome. Like I don't know if you've seen a lot of his stuff, but he like Halloween's always been one of my favorites, and I don't know. I was just like happy to have done it, but it does change your perception. It's like, oh, cool, I know everything I can.
Last question, and this is just kind of us wrapping up. You know, would you like to shout out any kind of like future stuff you're working on, and maybe shout out some social media, your channel, you know, anything like that?
Yeah, I have. I guess I'm starting this new series. It's just as the pilot now. Called the pilot's called How Did the Powerpuff Girls Movie Bomb? And it's basically going through the box office performance and like why certain movies bombed, or did well. I'm going to do that eventually, but I'm kind of getting excited. I have another one I'm working on. I'm doing another deep focus hopefully soon. I also have a TV show on Brooklyn Free Speech, which is a public access kind of channel, which is on the first and third Friday of every month. So if you're in Brooklyn, you can watch it on TV, but if not, you can watch it on the live stream, which is available for anybody. So my Twitter, I'm still on Tumblr, I'm still there, not posting as much because nobody cares anymore about Tumblr. And I'm on Instagram, if you can see like street art and baby photos. And I guess of all my friends, you know, you should follow Izzy and Nolan, Pan, which I'm sure you all are, and Paleo and Saber, who I write for. I already do research and writing for him. Not every video, but a lot of them. And Jax and Hirasashi and Nesca and Laura.
Well, that's pretty much it for this episode of Swig Talk. Ryan, everybody, we hope you enjoyed. And, look forward to upcoming stuff I'm doing. I got a parody coming out soon. I'm going to be redoing one of my oldest parodies. One I am not satisfied with at all, and looking back on it. But so yeah, it's going to be Hipster's Paradise 2. Parody of Gangsta's Paradise by Coolio, and yeah, we're gonna be revamping that. That one was not good, but so yeah, look forward to that. Got some game reviews coming up next month, and of course I want to keep doing Swig Talk because I really do like doing these, and Jim, it was great talking to you, man.
Oh, thank you for having me. It was cool talking to you too.